Hi Saturn Vue owners. Here's another video of a problem I seem to think that more than just mine's going to have. If you hear a creaking in your steering, words of advice: change your steering rack. What's going to end up happening, I heard creaking, I thought it was my electronic motor. I changed the motor. The creaking was still there. It was not the motor. It ends up being inside this little gearbox down here where the shaft goes in. Your steering column attaches to this, and this is what steers your wheels. Well, what happened is actually this shaft popped out so much that I lost steering completely. Now, a good thing I was in a parking lot when it happened. It wouldn't have been a fun venture traveling down the road at 80 kilometers an hour or 100 kilometers an hour, and this decides to pop out and lose your steering. And I mean you lose your steering, I mean you lose your steering. You have zero steering. You can turn the steering wheel as much as you want, but the wheels do not turn. And this was the whole reason. This here shaft pops out, and from what I understand, or I can tell, I didn't want to get into it too much inside to find out why. I think there's a ball bearing down inside there, and the ball bearing kind of falls apart, and the little bearings come out and kind of get jammed up in these teeth here, and just basically force this shaft out. So if you hear a creaking in your steering when you're turning, especially when you're not really moving, you're just creeping along and you hear a creak. It's kind of it's a funny sound. Well, that's what it's going to end up being, is your rack, your steering rack. So words of advice: I would have it changed. It's not too bad of a job. If you can't do it yourself, there's only 2 bolts, and then your outer tie rods, and your steering column, and that's all. And it slides out. A little bit tricky sliding it out and back in, but it's manageable. A little bit dirty, but hey, washes up. So, just a tip for Saturn Vue owners. My Saturn Vue is a 2003. But imagine they're all the same. Okay, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you would.